Hey guys, and welcome to our day early comic review show. I'm Andy, here doing it by myself this time. So I had a lot of books to read, but we'll get into it. If you don't know, I'm here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and every week we set all the books aside that we want to read, all the big stuff that we know everyone's going to be excited about. We read them and we tell you a day early what to expect and what to know going into that Tuesday or Wednesday when you go in to get your comics, what you might be on the lookout for. It's always a lot. So let's get into it. Some really big books this week I'm very excited to talk about. Starting off with Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo. So this has been the works for a long time. This is a miniseries written and drawn by Mark Silvestri. Of his fame is one of the founders of Image. So if you're familiar with Witchblade or The Darkness, those kind of things, Cyberforce, so many cool stuff, then you know his work. And in this one, he is coming to DC to tell a story, not in the main continuity, uh, about Batman having to team up with Joker to figure out what has happened to Harley. We see in the beginning of it that Harley is being held at the bottom of a well or a pit, and it is up to Joker and Batman to figure out what's going on. They have to set their differences aside very reluctantly. And it's pretty funny just thinking about a scene towards the end when Joker says, they're going to shake hands on it, and you'll have to see what Batman does. It's really great, really fun, but this is definitely art driven. Just some of the coolest Batman scenes you've seen in a while of him. His cape just busting through ceilings and flying out. It's really, really cool. So if you're a fan of Mark Silvestri's art, you're looking for a new Batman series, kind of want something different that's standalone, not in the main continuity, because Alfred's in there. Just kind of your classic Batman. I think you'll really like this. I don't remember how many issues it is. 5 or 6, I believe. But it's a little bit more mature of a Batman title, so definitely pick it up if that's something that you think you'd be interested in. I've got a few of the variants here. We've got two really cool ones. We've got this Greg Capullo Batman variant, and we have the Greg Capullo Joker variant. So they're not connecting, but they definitely feel very similar. They're in the same location. There's also some really cool incentives for this. So we have a 1 in 25 Kyle Hotz variant that we're selling to our customers for $15. The other thing with this is it seems there's some kind of Joker monsters running around the city as well. What's up with those? We'll have to see. I'm sure they are connected with missing Harley, but we don't find out a whole lot in this first issue. And then we have this this is the 1 in 50 Mark Silvestri cover of Harley that we are selling for $25. So next up, let me move this over here. So next up we have the triumphant return of Deadpool at Marvel. So this is written by Elisa Wong. And very cool. I did not know what to expect going into this new Deadpool series. I'd read a bit of the previous one. And Deadpool can go multiple ways. It can go just like straight up zany comedy, over the top gags, like the Posehn run where he's fighting dead presidents and all of that. Or it can go a little bit more where it feels like he fits into the main continuity of the Marvel Universe. I think that's a little bit more what this is. Now, it's not without its jokes, and it's over the top, and it's, breaking the fourth wall and all of that. But this actually feels a little bit more tied into what's been going on with the X-Men stuff, with the Krakoa, and with surprising, it is tied in with Maximum or Absolute Carnage, the event from a while ago. You'll have to see how, but it's very interesting. If you've read that series, you'll definitely you'll have a leg up when reading this one. But from where the series is going, it looks really interesting and maybe a pretty pivotal part of the overall story going on at Marvel. I know they like to, make Deadpool a big deal, and I feel like this is potentially be one of his bigger stories, given what is going on in there. But really fun jokes. You'll also see some familiar villains pop up, and a one I believe is new. I'm not positive, but she does introduce herself as the uh, harrower or harrower. We'll have to see. But I don't recognize her, and she definitely has Deadpool in her snares when we begin this issue. So if you're a Deadpool fan, rejoice because his series is back with a new number one. Perfect jumping on point for new and old fans alike. We've got some variants for this as well. We have the window blinds variants that Marvel's been doing. This one's pretty funny. We have of course, Rob Liefeld variant. This is for Marvel's Extreme variants, but it's a pretty classic looking Deadpool just with a little extra shoulder pads and straps, but very cool. We have the David Nakayama cover. And that is all that I have right now. I believe there's some more variants, but I don't have them on me right now. Okay, so next up we have a new book from Charles Soule and Will Sliney called Hell to Pay. So this is really interesting. This is actually this was one of the first ones I read, and I feel like I was kind of sucked into the most today. So it is, here's the variant for that. It is about we have a couple, but it begins with one of them. I believe her name is Maya, Maia, and she is on a date with Ian, and Ian is a billionaire and just has everything. He has extinct animals that he's been working on bringing back. He has just like old, decayed books, very fancy, but she is not super impressed with this if he's trying to woo her. But he says he's got something that he thinks that none of the other billionaires have, and that is that he knows that hell is real, and he is going to tell her about it. This leads into a really interesting story about the financial side of hell and how hell has its own coins, their own currency that are used for horrible things, as you can imagine. You see a little glimpse of that and what kind of things and souls are traded in hell. But we find out that Maya may have a bit more invested in this than what we originally knew. Maybe this isn't her first time learning about all this, because her and her husband are going to try to track down all of the coins to repay a debt that have been stolen from hell during a giant revolt they had. So this was a really cool book. I think this is a start of something really interesting with Hell to Pay. There's our couple right there who are going to be trying to get all these coins back. But there is a catch to it, something at the end that I think is really interesting, and it'll be. I'm wondering how it works out, and all of that is really cool. You'll have to check it out, but really cool new ongoing series. I know they solicited this as a cross between Indiana Jones and Hellboy. I definitely got a little hint of both of those. I'm hoping there's some more adventuring going on in future issues, because I think that would just top this one off as being a great new book. Let's see. And that, I believe, is the only variant I have right now for that one, but as always, I think there are more. We just didn't have all of ours organized yet when I needed to start making the video. Next up, one that I didn't get a chance to read all the way through, but wanted to let you know that it is out. This is Batman number 129, almost at issue 130, still dealing with Failsafe. My favorite character makes an appearance in this one, Aquaman. You'll have to see what goes down with that. But really cool issue from what I could tell from skimming through it. Really excited to read this, sit down and read this whole thing as a chunk. We've got some variants for this as well. We have the Delado variant. Batman going down a creepy hallway. We have this one that I love. This is the Matina Batman of Zur-En-Awe variant. And check this out. This is, I wonder how this is going to show up on the screen. But this is our first of these foil embossed covers. You can kind of see Batman fighting Bane on there. Another kind of homage to the 80s and 90s comics with that classic DC logo and all that. Very cool. There's a few of these coming out. I'll show another one of these later. But definitely, if you like this, don't want to miss it, because I think these are going to go pretty fast at the store. And then we have a 1 in 25 DeMio variant that we're selling for $15. And a 1 in 50 Jock foil cover that we're selling to our customers for $30. Okay, and next up, I have Secret Invasion #1. Now, this is really interesting. I did not know what to expect from this. You know, Secret Invasion was a pretty big event around the time I started really getting back into comics, so I'm pretty familiar with the original story. So to throw a name like Secret Invasion on something has to be big. We also know that Marvel is doing a series, Secret Invasion series. We saw the first trailer for that. I feel like this is to get people a little bit more acquainted with that idea. So this is written by Ryan North, and the art is by Mobley. And in it, Nick Fury is going to investigate a possible Skrull sighting or kind of Skrull invasion. He's not sure, but it looks like there's something going on at kind of a Midwestern town. And in this, he meets a family that seems like they're using the shape changing of Skrulls to be in denial about their father's death. That, you know, what died right there, that was actually a Skrull. Their father must be alive somewhere, which is very sad as a using Skrulls as a coping mechanism. But this just evolves into a lot more action where you don't know who is a Skrull and who is not in the classic Secret Invasion style. Nick Fury doesn't know who he can trust, and when he's telling the story to Maria Hill, she doesn't know who to trust either. There could be Skrulls everywhere, and even when they report this incident to the Avengers, there may be some Skrulls among them as well. So, very interesting. Not really a whodunit, but who can you trust story. This is a mini series, but I'm wondering if this is leading to a bigger invasion from the Skrulls or what. Very cool first issue. If you're a fan of the old kind of Nick Fury leading S.H.I.E.L.D., he's not leading S.H.I.E.L.D. in this, but it's got that kind of spy espionage feel. You know, people without superpowers investigating things with powers. Really cool, very fun in that sense. And then I believe we have some variants for this one as well. Yep. So here is our first variant. You kind of get the idea of anyone could be a Skrull. Then we have this Todd Knock headshot variant, this time with Nick Fury. So next up we have kind of a double feature. Just want to show these off. This is going to be very particular to your store, if you get them or not. This is the next wave of Bad Idea comics. Yes, you probably heard that they said Bad Idea is over, but of course they weren't, and they've put out new books, and we have the first two this week. As with the previous ones, if you're the first person in your store who has paid for them, you can get that all magical button that everybody wants that will eventually do something. You'll be able to trade it in for something. We'll have to see. But here is our first of our two this week. It's kind of hard to read what it says, but this is Orc Island. So Orc Island is written by Joshua Dishart, who I remember from reading a lot of his stuff at Valiant, and the art is by Alberto Ponicelli. And I would say it is a mature high fantasy, but with a kind of a dirty coat over the top of it. So it's kind of high fantasy. You've got your orcs, you've got elves, you've got dwarves. They're not very traditional versions of those characters looking, but everything's just kind of grody, and they live in the slums, and it's, I don't know, it's really interesting art style, very detailed, and it kind of accentuates the kind of grossness of this place. um, it seems like it's dealing with a lot of the class systems in a magical world, and I don't know. It's cool, but it's definitely going to be. I don't want to hype it up too much because I know a lot of stores won't be getting this if they're not participating in the bad idea stuff. So I won't tease you too much, but if your store is, I think you'll enjoy this one. As with all of the bad idea books, there is a backup story in it as well. The other one we have is Escape from Wyoming, #1. So this one is cool too. This is written by Robert Vendetti, and in this, it actually looks like aliens use Earth as a prison sentence. So they send their convicted aliens to Earth, which to them is a horrible place. And it looks like maybe even in the Earth there is an alien holding facility, but this could explain some of the weird phenomena going on Earth with aliens. A pretty fun book, a little bit more on the cartoony side, but still pretty mature, as with a lot of the bad idea books. And this one also has a backup story as well. And no variants for those. The bad idea does not do variants. They don't do collected editions. It's all just the one and dones or mini series, but no extra stuff. Okay, next up I have a new one from Marvel. This is Tiger Division. So this is really cool. This is kind of spins out of a lot of stuff that we've had over the course of a few years, with characters like Luna Snow and the Taguchi, who I believe appeared in Taskmaster. Um, they are a new kind of South Korean super team, and this is the first time they're getting a book all together. So in this, we have uh, Taguchi, we have Luna Snow, we have Lady Bright. Some of these, I believe, are first appearances, or if they're not, we haven't really explored these characters too much. We have Gun R2. We have a character that I really like called the General, who kind of gives you the vibe of the Iron Giant. He's big but kind. And in this, it begins where a cruise ship is about to crash onto land in South Korea, and it is up to this superhero team to stop it. But that's kind of the instigator, but not the main story, because Taguchi, when he helps save this the ship and the people it might be crashing into, he's kind of a Superman type character. He has a vision of his mother as a ghost who basically says, if you don't tell people what you're hiding, then horrible things are going to happen. And we don't quite know what that means. We don't know what he's hiding because we don't have too much of his backstory. But in this, you get a idea that there's more to him than meets the eye. Maybe something good, maybe something bad. We don't know. But it seems like he can't shake off seeing this spirit. It only talks to him the one time, but he kind of sees it over the shoulder of some people. And even when a mysterious gem, an all-powerful gem, they say is even above their pay grade to know what it does, they must go and find it. That even still feels like the background story to what is going on with this ghostly figure. So, if you're looking for a new team to read, some new characters that maybe you haven't checked out before, I think this one was really good. A great starting point for a new super team in Tiger Division. We've got some variants for this as well. So we have the Art Germ. We've got the Peach Momoko. We've got the Carlos Gomez. Very cool. And we have, I love these. These just, they came out looking so accurate. It's the trading card variant. Really cool. Just looks like an oversized card game card. So let me move some of these. It's a little bit easier for me just to do these one at a time. So we've got a new Star Wars book this week. This is Star Wars number 29. Now, Star Wars number 29 is is a really cool issue. So this is kind of a break from the norm. It's almost like your one-off vacation issue. At least that's what it kind of says it is at the beginning. It even says Star Wars a little break. So Star Wars a little break. As you can see, you've got Luke up there with the kind of a domino mask, Lando, and behind that mask is Leia. And this is cool. So Holdo, who you may know from the Last Jedi and all of that, she is friends with Leia, and she basically says, you know, we need to take a break. This is some great stuff we're doing for the rebellion, but you can get burnt out, and we need to take a breather. So she's rich. She invites everybody to her house with a swimming pool and all that. You know, hilarity ensues with Chewbacca falling in the pool. But this issue, I think it starts off kind of making you think this is going to be a kind of just a filler issue, but it turns into something really cool when they go to an auction, and up for auction is an old High Republic Nile ship. So if you've been following the High Republic, you'll recognize the Nile as being the main antagonist in that series. And so it's really cool to see that High Republic story going over into our main Star Wars timeline. What's really cool is you get to see what is the people of the, you know, kind of the original trilogy era. What did they know about the High Republic and that time frame, and what, you know, it seems like part of them considers them fairy tales. The Nile are kind of like boogeymen to them. It's all really interesting to see that, but Holdo starts bidding on this ship, and she has a plan for it that I was very surprised about. This is a very rewarding issue to those who are reading High Republic. They'll get a lot of the references. If you don't, you'll still get, they explain enough so you know what's going on. But if you are reading the High Republic, uh, the last page reveal is so cool. It feels like a final converging of the two eras of High Republic and the original trilogy era, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Fantastic issue of Star Wars. Issue was 29. There are some variants for it. I do not have them with me right now, but I do have Mandalorian. Star Wars Mandalorian issue number 5. So I knew with this one coming up that this was going to be a big issue because this follows episode by episode of The Mandalorian. And knowing this is our first appearance of Pelimoto, the fantastic character that has been now in like all of the seasons of Mandalorian and in the Book of Boba Fett briefly. And also, this is our first appearance of Fennec Shand, who is a very big character now from Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Bad Batch. So, two big first appearances in this issue of Mandalorian. If you're trying to collect Star Wars first appearances, this is a big one because I think we've not seen the last of those two characters. And it's just fun to read this since it's been a little while since I've watched this episode. So, very fun. There's some variants for that as well that I do not have with me at the moment. Next up is She-Hulk. This is She-Hulk number 7. And I feel like this is... The series has been really fun. I like that it is not the most action-packed series. But in this one, it feels like we are starting to get some threads pulled together into what may be our big story. So I really enjoyed this issue. She takes on a new client that is really fun, over the top. you'll just have to see to believe, because when they first walked in, I know they meant for me to think one thing, and I did, and the reveal was great. Just a lot of fun in this issue, but also the return of some characters from a previous issue that now seem like they are maybe up to no good, and it's going to be kind of a bigger story arc in this uh, next few issues of She-Hulk. So that is She-Hulk number 7. We also have Hulk number 10. So this is Donny Cates and Ryan Ottley back doing Hulk. And this issue was cool because we find out more about this planet of gamma irradiated beings that Hulk has landed on, and maybe that he has had. Maybe it's because of him that they are the way they are. I thought that was a pretty cool reveal in here that you'll have to read to find out. But there is something revealed on the last page in this one that's a pretty big game changer for the series and the character overall. I don't want to give it away because I feel like it's kind of part of what Donny Cates' grander plan is, and will affect the Hulk through whatever series he appears in from here on out if it plays out the way I think it will. So that is Hulk number 10. And then the last main book I have to talk about, I did not get a chance to read, but it is a new number 1 this week. This is Behold Behemoth. All of Boom's books have been really awesome, and I am looking forward to reading this one. I kind of skimmed it, but I have not actually sat down and read it. But that does come out this week. If you're looking for a new indie series, jump on with a number 1. And then a few things I just wanted to show off that I thought were really cool. We have a new series called, or a new one-shot from Opus Press called Monsters of Metal. And this is what if kind of classic monsters were in a rock and roll band together, touring, and what kind of hijinks they would get up to. It's mature, but also fun. This is, I believe, our A cover. It's hard to tell which was the A cover, because each cover is a member of the band. I don't remember if they're connecting or if it's just kind of each is a member of the band, but I do have one of the other variants here, which is the pumpkin-headed guitarist. They have a Medusa on their team. They have a werewolf. It's all really, really fun. Also, we have a new issue of Poison Ivy number 6. I believe this is the halfway point for the series, if I'm not mistaken, because it got extended, but this is our Jenny Frizen variant for that. Very nice. Also, here is another one. See if you can see this one. It's a little harder to see. You can kind of catch the light there. This is Joker number 2, or Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing number 2. I've not got a chance to read this one either. I'm excited to see what is the follow-up to that possible 3 Jokers tie-in from the last issue. And this is the embossed cover for that. Again, if you like it, you probably want to go ahead and grab it, because I don't think these are going to last long. And also from Joker, we have the 1 in 25 Matina cover. I think this is just kind of a horrifying cover. Perfect for today, which is Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. And we are selling this to our customers for $20. So, usually we go over more books than that because it was just me this week. It was a little bit more of an undertaking, so I tried to hit some of the main stuff, but there's still a ton of other stuff coming out you'll definitely want to check out. In other news, I just did an interview for StarWars.com about the new graphic novel, Star Wars Tales from the Rancor Pit. It came out today, so go on there, check out that article under the books and comics section in the blog. And yeah, Jason will be back. Jason and Megan will be back for Comics from the Future this Friday. So if you miss them and you don't just want to see me, you can tune in then. But until then, I appreciate everybody watching this. Leave a like, subscribe. We are so close to hitting the 2K mark. And for a little show like us, that is a big deal. So it's a little thing for you just to hit that subscribe button, but it means a whole lot to us. So until next time, thank you so much for staying here with me. And I will leave some ordering instructions at the end. If you don't have a comic book store, we would love to be that for you. We ship everywhere. We do it with care. It's all good. So, yep, check those out, and we will see you next time.